Hello, crafty friends. Welcome to day 24 of National Crafting Month. I am so excited that today we have my friend Jen from Pigskin and Pigtails, who is the GOAT with screen printing, and she is going to show us how to do screen printed patches. We have been rocking and rolling every single day this month, making something different. And it's actually so funny. I asked Jen, would she join me today? Or I didn't even say today. I just said, would you join me this month? And I had already had my whole calendar planned out. And on the 24th, I had screen printing written down. And then I asked her, would she come, and told her she could pick a day. And she's like, how about the week of the 24th? And I'm like, it's perfect. It's supposed to be like, I'm so happy. So today worked out, and we've got Jen. So welcome, Jen, to our celebration of National Crafting Month. I'm so happy to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me.
Introduce us, just in case people might not know you from my channel.
Sure, I'm Jennifer Sanderson with Pigskins and Pigtails, and I teach people how to screen print using vinyl. So it's a shortcut to screen printing for those of us who don't have the space in their house to set up a dark room to do traditional screen printing. I'm going to show you how easy it is to do this with your vinyl cutter. So I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I actually purchased your class, your screen printing class, maybe, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years ago. So I learned how to screen print from you. And then she has a kit, a whole get started kit. So you have everything you need to get started with screen printing at Michael's. Actually, is it on Amazon also?
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay. I got it at Michael's a few years ago, and I started screen printing. I like made something, got it at the store, came home and made something. It was so simple. So
Awesome.
I'm so happy to have you here today to share with us some easy screen printing techniques.
Yeah.
So if you are new to my page, I'm Courtney. I'm the CB behind the Crafty Brick, Courtney Brickner, and I do kind of all kinds of crafting. I like to do DIY, sublimation. I don't typically do paper crafts, but that's like the only thing I don't really do. I dabble in it, but I post tutorials and videos on every single social at the Crafty Brick. So you can catch me at all those places. And usually you can catch me dancing, having a little fun. I enjoy having fun with crafting. So I'm all over the crafty streets, just spreading crafty joy. So welcome if you are new to this channel today. We still have another week. I've been going live every single day with a different craft this month. So if you want to join in for the rest of the month, we still have about 7 more days of things. So it'll be fun. So Jen, how about you walk us through what we're going to be doing today?
Yeah, so we are going to be making or screen printing on these little patches. It's actually just a piece of fabric. So you could do this with any kind of fabric. And we're going to screen print a hat patch that we're going to put on a hat like this. And as we were talking about like what to do for this class, I always like to make things I'm actually going to use or wear. So I was kind of digging for what you are into right now. And you mentioned your daughter's volleyball team, which my girls play volleyball, so this is really exciting. So we have the logo for your daughter's team, and we're going to screen print that on a hat so that you can make a hat to wear to your next game.
So excited. I'm going to tournament coming up next weekend. So this will be perfect timing.
There you go. Awesome. Well, the cool part about screen printing too is you'll see as we do this, we're going to be able to print like tons of these. Like we're going to do a lot just to practice. And this is a good project to practice with because you're not like using a t-shirt and having to buy a whole bunch of t-shirts to practice with. We are just using a piece of fabric. So you could cut up a whole bunch of your own pieces of fabric and do this just to get the hang of screen printing. And then whichever is your favorite one is the one you'll put on your hat. So imagine as you get like really good at this, you could do a whole bunch of these and then sell them because it's just so efficient to make it this way. So hopefully you'll end up with a bunch of good patches at the end of this. And if you get other moms that want them once you wear it to the next tournament, you can just glue it onto the hat. So it's a really good beginner project. So
are we practicing on patches or are we going to because I got some fabric too to practice on. Which one are we going to practice?
Yeah. I would say let's get it all set up, and then we'll
Okay.
do a couple practice strokes on fabric. Should I show what we're making? Should I show the final result? Okay, so this is the logo or the design. So it's Coast, and their jerseys are just like this, right? Yellow at the very top.
Actually,
and
let
blue.
me get the jersey so they can see like
yeah,
how perfect it's going to be with the patch.
Yeah. So the cool part about screen printing is you'll see how easy this is to put two colors together.
Okay, here is her jersey. So this is going to be so perfect.
There we
I'm
go.
So excited.
So the reason I was saying we'll practice a few times is the inks are basically just touching each other right here. But the more that you go over it, it will start to blend right here and actually turn green in the middle. So we can just do a whole bunch of practice runs. Just if you want to get a big blend, you would want to go over it a bunch of times until it blends together. Or the jersey looks like it doesn't blend a whole lot in the middle. So we'll probably just try to keep the inks. It blends a little bit.
It blends a little bit
to green. So we'll just kind of practice. And then once you kind of get the right, blending down, then that's when we'll grab our patch and be able to print with that.
Okay, cool. So we got a question. Okay. Chris wants to know, does it matter what material you use, cotton or polyester?
No, that's the cool thing about screen printing is that it works on pretty much everything. Now, the one thing I will tell you is if you're just getting started is grab a light color fabric and print a darker color on top of that. It's a lot more forgiving and easier to learn the process. Printing on dark fabrics is a little trickier. It's very doable, but there's some techniques you would want to do to get that really bright color on a dark fabric. Okay. This screen printing ink soaks into the fabric and basically dyes the fabric, which is why I love screen printing because it feels so good on the shirt. It's almost like sublimation.
Feel like
you
it's
can't
sitting
feel
on top of it like vinyl.
Exactly. So because of that, it's soaking in and dyeing the fabric. As you can imagine, a black ink on a white shirt is going to be easier to achieve than white ink on a black shirt.
Yeah.
So if you're just getting started, that's my biggest tip is to start with a black ink on a white or a gray or a light color shirt because you'll just get the feel for the process a lot quicker. And then, like you mentioned, I have courses. I am launching a brand new course and book very soon. So I've got a lot more details on stuff like that where if you want to get into the details of screen printing. So
if people want to information on the courses that you have currently or your upcoming thing, where do they find you and get that information?
Yeah, so the best thing to do would be to grab my quick start guide, which is available on all the social channels. If you're tuning in on Instagram and you comment the word print, it will automatically send you the link. But anyone else that's on here, or I'm not sure if they're on your channel, if that would work. So you could just go to my profile on any of the social medias and it has a link to the quick start guide. And if you grab that, it's a free guide. It will also send you some more tips and then you'll be on my list to get info on the launch of the new stuff.
Sweet. And I think, unfortunately, I forgot to put the description in this video before we went live. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry, everyone who's looking to see information about this live. I will add that afterwards and I'll put the information to get to Jen. Just in case if you don't feel like going searching, I'll put the link in the description so it'll be easy. Cool. Oh my gosh, I'm telling you, all these lives, I'm just like, oh my goodness, forgetting things.
You learn something every time, and then it's like, now if we could just put all the pieces together, we'll have it down pat one day.
Seriously. Actually, let me just say hello to some of the people we have here in the chat. We've got Chris and Carrie and Niall, Delphine, Rosa. Welcome, guys. Donzel, Donna, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And those are just the people in the chat. So if you have questions during this, make sure you ask them because Jen is here. She's the expert and we will we'll check it out. I know Chris is like,
we're going to walk through
and there's nothing. Oh my goodness.
We're going to walk through the whole process today. So if you have time to stick with us, you're going to see just how easy it is from start to finish. So are you ready to get started?
Let's get started.
Okay, I'm going to switch over so that you can see my table. There we go. Okay, so I sent you the file to cut and you have your vinyl, right?
I have my vinyl, yep.
Okay, and we're just using adhesive vinyl, just the sticky vinyl for this project. And mine's gray, yours is a different color. That's totally fine.
Okay.
So in order to weed this one, this is a little different. Normally I'm screen printing the letters of the design or whatever. This time we're actually kind of doing the opposite here. We're gonna leave the letters the color of the fabric and screen print the outside. So the way you want to weed this is grab that inside box and pull it out and go around the letters for coast.
Okay, let me actually get the outside. I still have the outside square on, so let me pull that off first.
Okay. Okay. And you should have 2 squares left, right? So you have your.
I still have 2 squares left.
Okay.
And we're leaving.
This is a little more.
Okay.
This is a little more complex of a design than usual to explain because normally we're printing the words, but.
Okay. And we're going to take out the middles, right? Okay. Yeah.
Yep. Does it matter if the vinyl is permanent or temporary? Permanent for sure. I have 2 favorite brands that I like to use. I like the Caesar PSV or Oracle 651. Those are both outdoor grade vinyls, and I find that they last longer on the screen, especially when it gets wet with ink. I've been able to use 1 piece of vinyl like this to make 200 plus shirts. So,
oh my gosh.
Other vinyls will probably work, but they may not last as long. So,
okay, I'm using Oracle 651 today.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we have our design weeded, cut. So you're going to take some transfer tape and we're going to put it onto our screen. So just cover it in a piece of transfer tape.
And we're using she has her own transfer tape, so that's what we're using today.
Yeah. So this part so far should look pretty familiar to any of our crafty friends who have crafted with vinyl.
Okay.
Now, I know the camera flips things around, so this is actually mirrored when I'm looking at it, but the camera has it flipped. I don't know if your camera's flipping yours too. Oh, yours looks right on the camera.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Mine does not, in person, it's actually flipped. So the camera is a little tricky on that, but the reason why I have it mirrored, yep, go ahead and take it off. So this is the sticky side. Okay. And then we're going to flip our screen over. So this is the back side, the side with cording. And we're just going to flip it over and stick it on here. And you can just stick it in the middle and it really doesn't matter if it's completely centered or anything. We'll be adjusting our patch underneath it. So stick it on there really good. I was just told that it's not streaming on my Instagram.
Oh, it's not. Did you set up your stream key before the live started?
I did. It says it's streaming on here, but let's see. I'm not sure why it's not though.
That is annoying, right?
Right?
I set it up. It's supposed to be working. Let's see.
Okay, well, I'll keep trying to troubleshoot that while we're going here. Okay, once you have it on here, you might want to flip your screen over. And then with your little scraper tool, just make sure that that vinyl is stuck really well on here.
Okay. Jen did, yes, her image is reversed. Both of us have reverse images. Her camera is just not mirrored.
Yes.
Let's see. I'm gonna try also to add this to the description so you guys have her where you can contact her. Let's see. There we go. There's her Instagram page and her YouTube page. Let's see. Two people do this and the image is different. That's a little confusing. Yes, it's a little confusing. Maybe I'll switch mine just so you're not confused. So let me make mine look the same as Jen's.
I wish I could flip mine because yours actually looks the way it should.
It's okay. I flipped it, so now mine is right. Yes, but I now I switched it, Jen, so that we're not confused. Both of ours are printed or cut in a mirrored. When you're doing screen printing, you always cut mirrored.
Yes,
so
we're mirroring it so that we can put it on the back of our screen here. So when I flip it over and I'm looking at it, I'm like, let me see if I can flip my camera because it would make more sense if we were, if they were seeing what we're actually seeing here. Oh, here we go. There we go.
Let me flip mine back then.
Okay, yeah. So this is what it actually looks like for us as we're working on it. When you're on the back of the screen, the vinyl is mirrored. And the reason for that is we're sticking it on the back. And when you flip the screen over to actually use it, the words will be the right direction.
Perfect.
Okay, so once you've gotten your transfer tape or your vinyl pushed on there really good, just pull your transfer tape off, just like that. Got your piece of tape off.
Oops, mine doesn't want to completely stick. Yours just zipped right off. I'm just taking mine off a little bit slower.
Yeah, just
parts of it want to come
take your
up.
time.
There we go. And then I'm just gonna like do it one more time on the other side to make sure it's good.
Yep.
Okay. Perfect. Yay.
Okay, for some reason, it is just not letting me.
Hello, Candy. Okay, for those of you over on YouTube, I updated the link on there so you can find Jen. I put her Instagram link and as well as her YouTube link so you guys can find her.
Perfect. Okay, sorry, I'm still trying to troubleshoot this Instagram thing, but give me one more second.
Let's see. So Corey wants to know how much better is the Flex ink than the regular for shirts?
It really depends on the color of your shirt. The regular Speedball inks work just fine for me most of the time. The Flex inks are really designed to work well on dark color fabrics. So if we were talking earlier about not starting with a black t-shirt, if you wanted a black t-shirt, I would definitely recommend the Flex inks.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's see. So, it's on both pages on Facebook. Okay. Maybe I need to make sure that the link is there as well. Okay, skins. Okay. Got the information.
Okay, I cannot figure out what is going on with Instagram on my account. So we'll just move on. Hopefully they found you on your account.
Instagram doesn't want you to be great.
Oh man, technology.
Yes, when I go to Instagram, it's not showing up.
I don't know what the deal is. It's the crazy thing is the settings in here show that it's live, but it doesn't have my icon up here, right? So pigskins and pigtails. I typed it right. It says it's streaming, but I have no idea.
Technology.
Love it. Okay.
Hi, Nanette. We're getting started with some screen printing today. Technology doesn't want us to be great today. We shall prevail.
Courtney, I just heard that your live is not working on Instagram either.
I didn't even go to Instagram, so.
Oh, you're not on Instagram.
No,
okay.
I'm not on Instagram.
Okay, gotcha.
So, not having any mess ups there because Instagram, I just kept having issues, so I stopped.
I guess I see why.
Yeah, because it's weird. It just doesn't go live as simply as the other ones did. You have to do some back end stuff over on Instagram first. So it's just a little annoying.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm
work better.
I think that's the problem I'm running into is I don't know what I was supposed to do back on the back end. So okay.
Oh, the
we're moving on.
She said her first experience was with the ruby red color and the washout was a bloodbath.
Yes, the Flex ink is highly pigmented. That's why it works really well on dark fabrics is because it's got a really strong pigment. Okay, so grab your painter's tape and we want to cover up the areas outside of our vinyl, like out here, because if we're practicing and we get ink out here, it could get on, if you're doing a shirt, it would get on, you know, another part of the shirt. So we'll tape around it and we really don't have to tape the entire screen unless you just wanted to. This just gives us a little bit bigger of a border to work with.
And that's why I chose a bigger border. When you, Jen told me how to cut this out, and she said that if you make a bigger border, you'll have to use less tape. So her border is a little bit thinner than mine. That's the only reason why mine might look a little different, but because I just know I get a little messy. So I was like, well, let me add a little extra border around my cut and then extra tape as well.
Yeah, so if you were to use like a whole sheet of vinyl, you wouldn't probably need any tape, but the tape works to fill in the spots where you don't have vinyl.
Okay.
So, okay, so we have our screen set up like this. And this is where grabbing some of that, you have an old t-shirt or something to practice on.
Yes.
It looks like, okay, you've got a dark fabric. So it's totally fine if you don't have another one handy, but just know that the colors are probably not going to look as bright as when we print on the white.
I've got white. I wasn't even thinking. Let me get white.
Okay. While you're doing that, I'll get my inks ready. So we're going to be using speedball inks today, blue and yellow. And I have wet wipes handy because I get it on myself regardless. So
does it matter if it's like a canvas?
No, you may have a little bit trouble with the bleeding, but I think it'll be fine.
Let me see. I wasn't even thinking about the color for practice. Oh my goodness.
That's okay.
Let me just. Sorry, let me find one more thing.
That's all right.
I used to have so many shirts that I had messed up on for extra fabric. And then I was like cleaning stuff out and I was like, let me get rid of all these shirts. I don't need all of these shirts. This is silly to keep all these. And then I got rid of all of them and now I have no scrap fabric. Imagine that. Okay, that's right. I'm just going to use this little tote bag that I have with some, it's canvas, so it might bleed. So this is probably not the best thing, but that's what we're going to roll with.
That's okay. We're just using this to practice. So if it doesn't work, we can try something else. So, but before we put our canvas down, I'm going to show you a little hack. So they do make hinge frames, or you've probably seen me use a screen printing press in videos, which what those do is it holds your frame in place so that every time you lower it down, it's going to go in the exact same spot, which makes lining up our, patch under here a lot easier. So that once we get ink on the screen, we're not trying to like guess where that patch is on our table. Okay. So a little trick, if you don't have a press or a hinge frame, is if you'll take a piece of tape, we're going to make our own hinge here, and we're just going to tape the screen to the table.
Oh, that's good to know. Hey, Dad.
Now, you have to keep in mind, this is obviously not quite as ideal as having an actual hinge there or a press, but it's going to work for today. And you can at least try it out and make sure you like screen printing before you go and invest in more stuff.
That is such a great hack.
So what that's going to do is basically just hold it in place so that now I know where to put the patch. And so before we start practicing and get ink on our screen, take one of your patches and then we're going to line it up underneath here. And you're just going to slide it around until, it's really hard probably for people online to see this, but I'm just sliding it until the patch is centered right underneath here.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So once I get mine where I think it's pretty darn close.
Okay.
Cindy asked, can you screen print on any fabric? Yes, pretty much any fabric works. Some can be a little trickier, like ones with a lot of texture can be a little trickier, but cotton poly, all of those work. Okay, so once you have it placed in the right spot, you're going to lift it up and let's mark where that spot is. Let me see, I'm gonna hold it up with my transfer tape here. So without moving the patch, I'm gonna mark where I put that patch. Just try not to touch.
Why did I just, hold on, I lost my painter's tape. I'm like, where did I get it? Dang it, I don't know where I set it. I'm just going to use a little vinyl.
You had it, I saw it.
It's like scissors. How did I lose it that fast? I just had it in my
Okay, and one more tip for you. It looks like you're working on a wood table. I don't know if how the stain, like if the ink's gonna stain your wood table, but you're gonna get some ink probably going through. I'm just gonna print right on my table because it'll wipe up for me. But you might want to put like a piece of paper down and then tape the paper to your table.
Okay. Should I so put my paper down and then put the patch on?
Yep.
Okay.
And then, do it again. And just tape that piece of paper down to your table.
Okay.
So it doesn't move around. And then what you'll do is instead of, since if you don't have tape handy, you can just use a pencil and like draw an outline of where that patch ended up on your paper.
Okay. And then
I got a little crazy with the tape here. I made a really bigger. Let's try to save some of that tape.
So you're taping. Okay. So you're just taping outside.
Basically, now I have a template. Every time I'm going to put the patch right here in the middle, and I know it's going to line up right.
Oh, you have so many tips. This is perfect.
So this is good anytime you have something loose like this that you want to be able to line up. Now, this trick, this hack does not really work for t-shirts because of the bulkiness of the t-shirt. Your screen's not going to come down and lay flat. That's where a screen printing press comes in handy for t-shirts, but this works for, you could do party napkins. That's a great graduation idea. If you have graduation parties coming up, you can put just those disposable napkins down and screen print a logo on them. There's tons of things you can screen print. So,
wow, that is seriously so good. So you're lining it up on the board. You're lining it up where to put the patch.
Yep. Okay, Patty says, Patty from Kentucky, you have a kit, but you haven't used it yet. All right. Well, hopefully this gets you excited to try it out.
Okay. All right, I got my spot.
Okay, cool. You got your spots, and now we can move our good patch to the side, and you could put a piece of your scrap fabric down. I've just got some scrap here that is actually really thin and is probably going to go through it, but that's okay. I'm going to cut.
Okay.
Screen printing doesn't have to be quite as messy as I tend to make it sometimes. I'm not the neatest crafter.
Neither am I.
So I just have some random little pieces here.
Let me get some better.
And I'm going to put
scissors. I'm misplacing lots of stuff this morning.
Okay, once you get your template set up, this is
a few. Okay.
This pre-planning on getting your stuff lined up and stuff is just going to help make it go really fast once we get it set up. So for screen printing, this is the most time-consuming part. You'll see once we start screen printing, it's super fast.
Okay.
Jennifer,
has a
four-arm
four-arm press.
Wow. Okay. That would be really easy. I mean, you could still do these same things. You could do hat patches on a big press too. So, all right, make sure this isn't going to move around on us. We got our spot. You got your just practice sheet down.
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's time to put our ink on here, and then we'll start squeegeeing it. So the design for the jersey had yellow at the top and then blue at the bottom. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put a bead of yellow right here at the top of the design. And then at the bottom of the design, we're going to put a bead of blue ink. Now, the amount of that you overlap or touch those inks is going to change the whole look of the design. So if you want your design to blend a lot, you would want to really kind of make those inks touch and match up. If you want less blending of the colors, you could just keep them kind of separated. So this is where it's just going to get fun to experiment and see what you like. And we can adjust and just practice until you get it looking the way you want it to. So we have these little syringes, which sometimes can be helpful for putting little amounts of ink in the right spot. So let's see, yellow along the top. So I'm going to start about halfway and go up to the top with yellow. And you actually want to use a decent amount of ink here so that it will cover the entire design.
Okay, so you're starting at the bottom, going up, okay, a decent amount of
So yellow at the top of coast, yep.
Okay. All right, I'm nervous right now. A little nervous.
You got this.
Yellow at the top. And then blue on the bottom. Okay.
And mine are just touching each other right in the middle, but I'm also being careful not to like contaminate the blue ink into the yellow. So if you get any on your syringe, you would want to just wipe it off so that you don't get your inks mixing in your jar.
I just want to make sure the yellow is going all the way. I don't have a blank spot in the middle.
And you probably want to put about twice as much ink on there.
Oh, twice as much ink?
Yeah. So do a whole nother little strip of ink. Yeah.
Okay.
Jennifer says you have forearm press that you can't use. Be sure to get on my email list. I actually have something coming out very soon in about a week that I'll be announcing that is going to be more support for people that are ready to go to the next level of screen printing. So if you've decided that screen printing is for you and you need help really fine-tuning your process, I have something coming. So make sure you're on my email list if you want more help with like a press.
Okay.
Okay, so we got it.
So
you're going to grab your squeegee.
Okay.
And what we're going to do is you're going to hold the screen down with one hand just so that it doesn't like pull away from that tape. And then we're going to squeegee across the behind the ink all the way across the design. And you want to press down pretty hard. We're really just trying to get a thin coat of ink here. So you want to give it some good pressure. And you want your squeegee to be about a 45-degree angle. So not straight up and down and not all the way flat. Right in between is the angle that we're going for. And I'll go first.
So one swipe across.
We're gonna see. Sometimes you can get away with one swipe, but sometimes you might want to go back with another. So
okay, I'm gonna watch you do it first.
And so my inks have not really blended together much yet. If I want them to blend a little more, I can kind of like wiggle or overlap my colors here and go over it again. You can slowly see it starting to blend. So this is where you kind of have to decide how much you want it to blend, because we could really like take, we could take a popsicle stick and you could kind of blend this in the middle a little bit more if you wanted more green to come through.
Okay.
I think your jersey had a little bit more green in the middle, so you could kind of just start forcing it to blend. Go over it. But the more we do this, the more it will start to blend together. And I'm keeping the squeegee like that.
Okay. Why am I so nervous? Okay, I'm just going to do it. Just going to do it 45 degrees and drag it across. Oh, dang
it. A little more ink probably.
Okay.
Yeah, just add more ink and then start again. It's always a good idea to have a lot more ink than what you really think you're going to need so that you can get all the way through the design. And typically when you're doing just one color on a screen, you can scoop that up at the end and save it. So on this one, we're not going to obviously want to save the blue and yellow separately here, but we could mix it all together and save a jar of green at the end if we wanted to.
Okay. Let's try again.
Okay, so you can see my second one, the green is really starting to come through.
Oh, I am blending a bit in the middle. Okay.
So you want to just kind of do it slowly. So we have a bunch of scrap pieces, so just kind of slowly do one and then grab another piece of scrap fabric and we'll do it again. And the more that you print it, the more it's going to start blending together on its own without having to try to force it too much.
Okay.
Because we don't want to lose the yellow and blue. If we blend too much, the whole thing's going to turn green.
Okay, actually not too bad to start.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. I'm going to get another piece of paper to set this off.
And on this print, you'll see I didn't get enough yellow, and so I didn't print the yellow. But again, this is why this practice is so good, because you can just keep going to get the feel for screen printing until you have it just the way you want it. And then we're going to start using the patches, which, again, the patches are not as pricey as a t-shirt. So if we mess up a patch, it's not going to be a big deal.
Great. Okay, so I have a question. Mine, is it because maybe my fabric, it went all the way through, so like my paper's covered with ink.
That's okay. So is mine. So like I actually have two pieces here. So this bottom piece has it on there.
Okay.
It's fine. I'm just putting another piece of scrap right on top of it and
Okay.
It doesn't really matter. We're just putting scrap paper down. So if it gets on the back of the scrap fabric, not paper,
then it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's
So I'm just adding more ink because I kind of ran out here.
Okay, hopefully I can get all the way across this time. On one pass.
And I'm going over about 3 times per test. So that one's looking pretty good. I'm just slowly blending the green here. I don't want to go too crazy because I want it to be kind of a subtle green in between.
Okay. I think. All right, let's do this one. Get all the way across.
Okay, so you can kind of see here. Let me show you the progression of mine. I think this was the first one, and then second one, and then see the third one starting to really get more of that green in there.
Oh, this one actually, I guess I blended a little bit more. It has a little more green in the, let's see, can you see? There we go.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Looking good. So you can practice this as much as you want until you feel like you're ready to go, and then you can do the actual patch.
Do one more.
And every time you add new ink, you kind of have to get that blending going again between them. But the ink on your squeegee itself will help with that so that it blends a little quicker the next time.
So I have like so much ink on my squeegee. I just leave that on there until the end?
Yeah, leave it on. If you wanted to, you could carefully kind of push some of that down onto your screen like this. You just don't want to get the two mixed up as you do that. I think I got green ink.
If I get a popsicle stick?
Yeah. And I think got a good bit of green here, so I'm gonna grab that out.
Actually, there's not much for you.
Where is the screen from? You can get these screens at the craft store. You can get them online. I have links to different websites you can get them from. They're on Amazon, a variety of different places.
Yeah, I'll make sure to add that as well to the description. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Cindy says your yellow looks a lot lighter. I think you're just using a lighter color yellow than I have. I just have the regular.
Oh, mine looks
speedball
lighter?
Yellow. Yeah, I think you might have like a, I don't know what color that is. I haven't seen that actually. Oh, it looks darker when you hold it up. Maybe, I think it's just your camera.
Oh, my camera just makes it look different?
Like when you hold it up next to your face, it looks like the same color as mine. It's hard to tell.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'm gonna try one
Brenda
more time.
asks, do you think the fabric has a lot to do with the outcome? For example, cotton versus cotton poly and blends. Brenda, so when it comes to like screen printing shirts with a cotton shirt versus a cotton blend, they all work exactly the same for me. Like I said earlier, the main difference is if you do a dark color, especially a dark polyester, sometimes that ink really absorbs in there, and the yellow, if we were screen printing this on a black shirt, wouldn't show up quite as vibrant as you would want it to printing this way. But there, like I said, there are ways to get it very bright and on a dark shirt. That's just kind of the next step. So after you've practiced and gotten the hang of screen printing, we can chat more about how to get those types of things worked out so that you can get a really good print on a dark color fabric. Cindy, I do have a kit. There's 2 speedball kits that I collaborated with that are specifically for using vinyl. And if you go to my website, pigskinsandpigtails.com, I have a supply list page that has links to everything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
So did you get it on the paper that is taped to the?
Well, it is just bleeding through a lot. I think maybe
That's okay.
It's just very porous and it's just going right through.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Do
Okay.
you still have your template where you're going to put the patch?
I mean, I can still see it through the paper.
Oh, that's underneath. Okay, so go ahead and just take that off. Take that piece off that has the ink on it.
Okay.
And leave your template on the table.
Okay.
And let's just go for it and try to print one of our patches if you're.
But does it matter
ready?
if I've got ink on the back of my patch?
I mean, not really, because once we put the patch down, if it gets on the back of the patch, you're not going to really see the back when you glue it or stick it to your hat.
Okay.
If you had a lot there and it was going to like soak through and be a different color than what was going on your patch, that may be a problem. But really, it's the same colors going on top. So
okay,
I think you'll be fine. Okay. So now that we have our template, just put down your good patch.
Put down my good patch. All right.
And then make sure you have a bunch of ink on here.
Goodness. It's always the ink that throws me off. I'm just like, how much? Okay. Now blue. Did you do your patch?
I did. Let's see. So it is going to stick to the back of your screen. So you're just going to kind of carefully see if I can do this on camera. It's going to stick there. So I'm just going to carefully peel it off.
Okay.
And there we go.
Let's see. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay.
So yellow is kind of hard to see on camera. In person, it's a lot clearer, but the word coast being in white, there isn't a whole lot of contrast there. So I'm not sure what it's looking like on the camera for everybody.
Good.
Okay, good.
Okay, let me try mine. Okay. Come on.
The higher contrast of colors that you use, you'll get a different look. But we wanted to go with the colors that matched the uniform we're matching. So.
All right. Did it work, Court? Work? Let's see.
Okay, so just peel it carefully off of there.
Well, it's a little. It's not quite as good as Jen's. Maybe
Let's see it.
I have like too much ink, like it's filling in the words.
Okay, so it looks like maybe you've gotten some ink on the back of your screen here where the words are.
Uh-huh.
So what you can do is just put that one to the side, and I'm just going to put an extra piece of scrap down, and I'm going to just take my squeegee. Let's see, let's take some of this ink off. Again, try not to mix your colors.
Okay.
But I'm going to take a wet wipe actually, and let's just clean the whole squeegee off. And what we're going to do is run the squeegee over to really try to like press that ink that's on the back of the vinyl onto our scrap piece. So I'm really not trying to push ink through the screen on this. I'm really just trying to get it to absorb off of the back of the vinyl. You kind of want to avoid trying to touch the vinyl and do this because it ends up making a bigger mess. So this is where the scrap fabric comes in really handy.
Oh, it looks like it kind of pushed it through.
Okay, so just keep grabbing new pieces of scrap and go over it, and you're just trying to push that piece of vinyl basically down, and it's absorbing into the fabric. So as you do this, it's going to it should start to look better the more times you go over it.
Get some more fabric. Oops. Okay.
Susan says she got a kit when you were working at Michael's. And then you're excited to find these tutorials to try making with vinyl. Yes, I'm excited for you to try it. Hopefully, watching us today will get somebody excited to open that kit up and use it.
I think. Yeah, it might be because of my paper too, because there's so much ink through here. But actually it's drying
Okay,
out
well
now.
you can, yeah. So it normally when we're printing like on a press and I get some through, it dries pretty quickly, but you could take something and just wipe it off because again, this is whatever's touching, it's going to be the back of your patch. So if it doesn't all wipe off perfectly, that's fine. So you can.
Oh yeah, most of it's wet. It's kind of wiped
A lot
off
of it's
now.
going to be dried on there already.
Okay. All right, let's try again.
Try again.
Okay. All right. Round 2. Let's do this.
So make sure you add a lot, a lot of ink so that you can make sure it gets fully covered.
Okay. Maybe like 2 little squeegees full.
Probably twice as much. Yeah, I think maybe just keep going with more. And you probably could use a spoon or a craft stick or something.
Okay.
These syringes were an idea just to, you get a little more precise placement, but these syringes we're using are very small, so it doesn't put a whole lot of ink out.
Oh, okay.
Yes, my kit can be purchased at Michael's. The only thing I'll tell you is that the screen that comes with the one that's in Michael's is a little bit smaller than the screens that you'll get if you buy it on Amazon or anywhere else.
Okay.
The Michael's version is just this 8x10 screen, I think.
Boys. Oh my gosh, both the boys are home. They're very loud. Okay. All right. Here we go. I got my
Okay.
patch on. Here we go. 45
Try
degrees.
it again.
Room pressure.
Yep. And do it. I'd go over it 2 or 3 times. Maybe, or 3 or 4 times, maybe.
3 or 4 times? Okay.
Yep.
One more. Okay. Let's see what we got now. Okay, it's stuck to the back. Let's pull it off carefully.
Hey, Patrick.
All right.
We're getting there.
It was before, but I'm gonna try one time, like covering up this paper.
Sure.
Yeah.
Really,
I can still see the tape through it, so
there you go. Yeah, really, you're just using that as a template so you know where to put the patch. But if you can see it through there.
Yes, Patrick, I do need you to come handle the boys. Okay, I'm just wiping that off, and I'm gonna put another piece of paper down. Okay, got another patch here. I'm gonna set this right here in the middle. Actually, let me get some of this ink off the screen too.
Yeah, if you get any on the vinyl and it's, you can always just run over it with a dry squeegee and that kind of helps pull that off of the vinyl.
Yeah, there's kind of a lot on here, so that is probably preventing it from having that clean. Okay.
Now, I'll just talk while you're getting that set up, but if you were really trying to get the perfect blend of a green in the middle here, another trick would be to take some green ink, or you could mix these two separate in a jar separately and put the green right in the middle, rather than trying to mix it on the screen. So that's just another option if you're trying to get the perfect blend. I mixed mine and now have a lot of green in the middle.
Now you have a lot of green.
So you're just gonna have to play with it till you get the look that you want.
I just want to look like yours, Jen.
Keep practicing. This is why we picked this project, because you can practice as many times as you need, and we're not like wasting a shirt when it doesn't come out great.
Yes,
so you can see my green is blending.
Annoying.
A lot more here.
Guys, I'm gonna get the links for everything that you need for this, and I will make sure to put them in the description. But if you want to right now, you can go over to Jen's page because I did put the link for that in the description, and you can get all of the stuff from her page. So you'll have that. Okay.
Someone was asking what the squeegee is made of. This is actually screen printing squeegees. I mean, these are specifically designed for screen printing. It's this particular one is a 70 durometer squeegee, which just is a measure of how thick it is or how much bend there is in it. And I have found this is a really good one for beginners.
Oops.
How do you fix your patch onto the hat? Or I'm getting ahead of myself. I'll show you real quick while we're practicing. So I am just going to use this Fabric Fusion Quick Dry glue. And you can just put that on the back of your patch and then stick it on your hat. These are really thin fabric, so it doesn't take much to get it to adhere to the hat. And it should stay on. It's not something that we're going to be washing or it needs to be super durable. So usually a little fabric glue holds it on there forever. Chris asks, what happens in the middle of the project if you want to change colors? So if you wanted to change colors completely, you would probably want to just start with a fresh screen and set it up again. With adhesive vinyl, like we put on here, if I go and wash this off, I'm probably going to wash away the word coast as soon as the water hits it to try and get the ink off. So you would want to just cut a new piece of vinyl and stick it on there, and then you could do it again. If you knew that you were doing multiple colors, you could, there's enough room on the screen probably to have set up several here. So I could have put it on there a couple times.
Okay. I'm doing this one more time. The last one was better, but I just want to do one more practice, and then we're good with this. And I'm gonna move on to the next step. This takes practice, y'all. It doesn't just come the very first time. Jen's been doing this a long time.
I have, yes, and it does get easier with practice.
And
that's why finding a project like this where you can just practice the squeegeeing is really helpful before you start printing on shirts, because I think a lot of people get disappointed if their first shirt doesn't come out exactly right. With this, we're just printing on cheap fabric. So yeah, if it doesn't work, we can toss it as we're learning.
Jamila, I thought about that with my white sweater. I don't make the best crafty decisions, y'all. I was thinking I'm getting yellow and blue and I'm trying to like pull my sleeves up. Why did I wear this color? Oh my gosh. And this is one of my good sweatshirts. Why? Okay. This is it. I can feel it. I can feel it. This one.
Oh, Barbara asked, does the ink have an odor? It does not. The Speedball ink does not have an odor, or at least that I've noticed.
Okay. It's better.
Are we getting better?
It's better. It's better. It's not Jen better, but it's better. Courtney better.
Okay, you're still okay. Is this your practice fabric that you're using?
No.
That's okay. It looks like you're getting a little bit of bleeding like through the letters where it's not staying completely white.
Yeah, I am.
And sometimes that will happen on a textured surface. It just can happen more where the ink kind of gets through the little texture of the material. So you could try to grab a piece of like cotton, like one of those, the t-shirt you had earlier, the black t-shirt. You could try and print on that and see if you can get a better result there.
Okay. I think one of these is going to be good because Jen, I'm just going to say, I've used all my patches.
Okay. We're going to have to pick one you like then.
We're going to have to pick one I like. Okay. That's the plan that we're going with right now.
Hey, if you want, I'll send you one of these because don't know if you can see how many of these I've done. And I don't have a kid on Coast volleyball team,
You don't have a kid on
so
Coast? Oh my gosh. No,
let me
they
actually
definitely
print
got
one
better
more,
because I want to show my very first one. So I'm going to do a little comparison. I'm going to get my best one and then I'll show my first one.
Let's see it.
I mean, I made huge improvements. So here's the very first one. You can barely see any words. Here is another one. It's still can't see much.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my last one. I have improved. So here's first and second. And here's my last. It's much better.
Yes, much better. I think you're getting the hang of it.
Much better.
So to prevent some of that bleeding, a couple things. It could just be the patch. The material of the patch is kind of textured, which is tricky. And then just more pressure because we want to get really thin coats of ink so it's not getting a whole bunch of extra ink pushed through there. And that's just what takes some practice. So just continuing to practice on fabric until you get it just right. Let's see, I got a lot of blending here happening. Try to get some of this off. Just gonna make one more that I
practice on scrap. More scrap is what I need. More scrap.
Yeah, just practice on scrap fabric or use if you've got old t-shirts that you're getting rid of, that's a great way to practice. I have a whole pile of t-shirts that I've messed up on or that my kids have outgrown, and I just keep them in a basket. And anytime I want to practice, I can grab one of those and you can print on the back of it. You can flip it inside out and print on both sides. Like you can get a lot of practice out of one t-shirt. So instead of getting rid of those old shirts that don't fit anymore, use them for practice.
So what I'm hearing is that I should not have cleaned out my craft room and thrown away all those extra t-shirts. That's what I'm hearing. So basically,
Courtney,
just don't get rid
we
of
never
stuff.
throw anything away as crafters, right?
Don't throw anything away. I was trying to be good, get rid of stuff, but no, I need all those t-shirts. So okay. Yeah. Don't throw anything away, y'all. That's what we learned today.
So here's one of the ones that came out, I think, pretty good.
That is so the really good. I mean,
the whole blending idea.
I want to remind everyone what the jersey looks like. Oops.
Of course, this is wet, so I'm getting.
That's so good.
Pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I'll send you this one so you have a good one to put on your hat. So if you don't want to glue yours on today, you don't have to. We can just talk about the steps to do it. But one other thing is if you have a heat gun and you want to try to dry yours a little bit.
I do.
Something that's kind of fun to do with these particular patches is you can kind of make them distressed along the edges. So I'm just touching all over this.
You like pull? Oh.
Yeah. So the patch actually has I think it's like a sealed edge, but if you'll just cut the edge off, then you can start to like pull the fibers. And I already cut this one, but.
Wait, did you do yours with the heat gun already, or is this just wet?
No, it's getting all over my hands.
Oh, okay. You're like, no.
If you dry it, it won't get all over you, but I didn't. So you can kind of start to pull these little pieces off and it frays the edge and it kind of just looks cool, I think. It's going to bring more white out along the edges.
I love that.
Let's see. Okay, see, it's all sticking to me because I didn't dry it, but you can kind of get frayed edges.
I love that.
Just kind of an extra touch.
Like a hat patch. Okay, there were two questions. One, does the screen dry in between, and like, do we need to wash it off now?
Yeah, so as soon as we're done with the live, you'll want to take it and wash it. And the ink does start to dry. So if you were to, wait till this is over and then you wanted to do it again, you might find that the ink has dried a little bit in your screen, and then your print is going to come out where it might look like this, where it didn't print all the way through once it dries in there. you can usually recover your screen still. Just add a whole bunch of fresh ink and take another piece of scrap fabric and just really work some of that wet ink through there. And usually after I print, a few pieces that way, it is loosened up and you can use the screen again. So again, more practiced fabric is handy to have around, because then you can use that to get all of the excess ink out, or the dried up ink out, and then it starts to work again. So okay, again, perfect. I'm doing this I should have dried this, but whatever.
That looks so good.
So it looks frayed on the edges here, and then I'll show you what it will look like on the hat. Let me wipe my hands off so I don't get it everywhere on the hat. But again, I just have like some fabric glue that I would use to stick this on here.
So first we would dry it with the heat gun?
Yeah, dry with heat gun so that it's not getting ink everywhere on you. Or you can let it air dry. If you don't have a heat gun, just let it air dry. And then you would just glue it on the hat.
So cute.
Yeah.
So I have my hat.
So out of all of your practice, you can pick your favorite one and glue it on there. And like I said, I'll send you one of these if you want to wait and glue since you didn't get, or after we're done with this, you've got your screen all set up. Just keep practicing and
and you don't get the right ink and the right pressure and
And you don't have to, you said you were out of patches. You don't have to use a patch. I mean, you could use any kind of fabric. You can buy I don't know what it's called, but the type of fabric that frays away like this. I don't know if you can see like the way that frays. I don't know what that's called, but there's was there somebody that was working at a Joann's on here earlier? Oh, it was Michael's, wasn't it? I was going to see if they know more about fabric types. But yeah, you could use anything and screen print on it and then glue it onto your hat.
You can't just let it air dry. You have to like press it, don't you?
Okay, so you normally would. So if this was a t-shirt that you're going to wash and, anything that's going to go in the wash, you do need to heat set it. So what that means is you let the ink dry, so you could let it air dry overnight, and then tomorrow you would want to heat press it. So if it was a shirt, heat press it at 320 degrees for 40 seconds for anybody that was wanting to jot that down. But I don't know that you're going to wash your hat. So you don't have to heat set this unless you just want to, because it's wet, and you could, if you use the heat gun just for a few seconds to dry it, that will be enough to cure it on here. And if your hat were to get wet in the rain, it would not go anywhere.
I want to try. This is my best one. I'm going to try it.
Yeah.
And put it on my hat.
So Jennifer said it doesn't have to be
cured. When I go to heat press, like if I made a shirt, screen printed a shirt, and I go to heat press it, do I have to put paper on top, or you just press it?
It depends. If you let your ink dry all the way, you don't have to put anything on top of it, but you can if you're the type that's just used to putting Teflon sheets on. It doesn't matter either way. So it works fine either way.
Okay.
And with the heat gun, again, it drying the ink enough, like you wouldn't have to heat set this particular item, a hat patch, but if you were doing shirts or anything that's going to be washed, you definitely want to make sure you follow the right steps to get it heat set. Otherwise, your ink could fade when you wash it.
Okay. Good to know. I really like your frayed edge. I'm going to do that. Let's see.
If anybody else has questions about this project or any other screen printing, feel free to ask.
This is all super helpful, Jen.
Good. Cindy asked how you do the white logo on my shirt. This was screen printed. So today we screen printed the opposite of how I normally would. We screen printed the outside, but normally I would take the vinyl and weed out the letters or the parts of my logo. I weeded those out and put it on the screen just the same as I did today. For white, to get it this bright of a white, I use a screen printing press. So be sure to go check out my channel or my website and learn a little bit more about getting started with a press. If you're going to do this, maybe add screen printing to your business, or you know that you're going to be the go-to for everybody wanting shirts this summer, and you're going to be doing a lot of screen printing, a screen printing press, you can get started for around $300. Invest in that, and that will save you so much, because just like we were doing today, where we lifted the screen and it went back down in the same spot, with a screen printing press, your shirt is stuck to the board, and you lift the screen and you can put it back down and add more ink. So you don't have to worry about, did I get enough ink? And you lift the screen and it wasn't right. The press will allow you to put it back down. So I highly recommend that if anybody's really getting into screen printing and wants to not mess up as many shirts.
As many shirts.
I've messed up plenty in learning this process, so I'm speaking from experience.
Like, I know. Okay, so.
Okay, Corey wanted to know how we clean the screen off real quick. When we're done with this, we would just peel the vinyl off the back and scoop up any ink. Our ink has blended together, so if you have a little tiny jar, you could put it all in there and just mix it, and then you'd have a jar of green ink to save, but that ink will save. And then you just take it to the sink and wash it off. I have like the little sprayer attachment on my sink, and it comes off really easily. But since it's been sitting here for quite a while, it's probably going to stain the screen. So if you have a magic eraser and you get it wet, that will likely take the staining off.
Oh, good to know.
Scrub it on both sides with the magic eraser and then wash it again, and it usually comes all the way off.
So I'm just going to use this fabric glue and attach it on?
Yep.
Are you going to do 4 points, or are you going all the way around?
I'm not going to glue it on unless you want another coat.
Well, no, like what I would
but yeah, you just want to coat it on the back. I would probably draw a line all the way around it, and then maybe just squiggle some right in the middle so that it's stuck on there really good.
Let's see. Okay.
You mainly just don't want the edges to come up.
Okay. And then we'll do a little squiggly in the middle.
Rachel asks what the patch material is called. I'm gonna have to look it up. I think I got these patches on Amazon, if I remember correctly. And I clearly don't know my fabric types because I couldn't think of what this is called. But I like this type of material that frays. It looks really cool on the hats. There you go.
Okay. Hey.
Okay, so hold up the jersey next to it. I think yeah.
Let me see. Hold on. Let me put this on. And then we got her jersey. Look at that.
There you go. Yeah.
I got my hair.
When I saw that, that was the first thing I thought, is like screen printing's perfect for this because you can blend the inks. So fun. Yay.
Heat and bond. Could you use heat and bond? You probably could, right?
But say that again. It cut out.
Could you use heat and bond for the hat instead of the fabric glue?
Yeah. And you could actually use like thicker patches or anything like that. Any surface you can screen print on pretty much. I will say the more textured the surface, it will start to kind of seep in the texture of material. So if you're a beginner, that can be a little bit tricky. Where how and that's probably what happened with yours, is that some of that ink is just seeping in the texture of the fabric. So grab a t-shirt and practice on a cotton t-shirt, and that will give you an even better experience than a real textured surface. But try out different things.
I'm so excited.
Okay, cotton duck is what it's called, I've been told. That you can get duck? That does this.
For the fabric that frays?
The fabric.
Okay.
So you could buy like a yard of this and imagine like how many patches you could make out of that.
Right. And if you can use the same screen and just do multiple, could knock them out.
Yeah. And now like I said, we did the opposite. We screen printed the background of this because we were trying to match that jersey. Normally when I do a design, I'm screen printing the words. So I would screen print, whatever the design is, and then the rest of the patch would be white behind it. So we're just kind of mixed things up today for this one, but you don't have to screen print the background like we did, if that makes sense.
So
I like it.
We made a hat today, my friends. It's kind of a Monet. Like if I stand back here, y'all can't even tell that I got, ink on it. It's like perfect. I'm like, oh, that's so cute. We're just woken up super plus. I love it.
And we did pick a design where like the letters of Coast were really thin. So
really thin, yeah.
I mean,
for real, on my practice, and I think it's just because I got too much ink afterwards. It was fine. It went all the way. The lines were perfect on my first go around. But then as I started to put more ink was getting on the back of it. So I think that's just, why it went through. But it's still cute.
Yeah. And vinyl, I mean, we're using such a small piece of vinyl. If this happened and you're practicing, just cut another piece and start over. So again, you don't have to start screen printing with a shirt, and you can just get really good at small things and then work your way up.
I love how you frayed the edges. That is, I think
fun?
that just makes it much better. So cute. So cute. Yay. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for informing us on all this stuff. I think my favorite hack is that I can make my screen like a hinge, because I don't have the hinge screen. So that was really, really good to know. Like so many things, taping off where your project is going to go. This was just filled with all kinds of gems. Thank you.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, this is all stuff I've learned the hard way. So I'm trying to help people skip all the things I messed up in the beginning and get you started a little bit further along than I was. So my website and Instagram have tons of projects from years ago where I was learning this process. So don't feel like you have to start out and nail it every time. Like practice and you'll get better.
With anything. When you're trying a new thing, it takes some time to get it down and do it perfectly. This was so great. And so when does your new class come out?
Hopefully this week. I'm working hard to wrap up the final things on it. So I'll send you more details so you can share with your list if people are on your email list, or they can join mine. But yeah, I'm trying to like put all of these tips and things I've learned over the years into courses so that, again, people can kind of jumpstart and not make all the same mistakes I made.
And we appreciate you for that. Oh, Danny said I could cut out the word Coast in white HTV and press it onto my patch.
There you go.
I was like, could I paint? Maybe I could like add some paint. That's a good idea. Just putting some HTV on the parts that didn't just cover up the coast.
Yeah. Or while you still have it on the screen, if you wanted to, you could peel the word Coast off and just screen print some, of the blended pieces, and then you could go back with Coast on top of it too.
I like that. There's always so many ideas in the chat. I'm like, thank you so much. I didn't even
that was such a good idea. Yeah, HTV will cover up any of your screen printing mistakes. I love it.
Screen printing mistakes. It's so nice that you can just cut with your cutting machine, your vinyl, and use this over and over and over it'd be great, like just for, family, or like you're saying, graduation, birthday parties. You can get a lot of designs off of one piece of material. That's nice.
Yeah. I know. Every time I've seen some videos of you weeding the same design over and over again, I'm like, Courtney, we have to get you screen printing. You are wasting time.
You are wasting. Yes, I have wasted a lot of time. Yeah, no, this is definitely super helpful, Jen. So thank you for being here. I will
Thanks for having me.
The description right now when we're finished. But if you guys want some information quickly, jump over to Jen's page. I put her link for her YouTube and her Instagram in the description, so you can get anything that you need from her and get started screen printing. And if you guys do it and you're in my Facebook group, please share some of the pictures, because I love to see like when you try out these things. Chris said I could add bling with rhinestones. I could put Coast in bling. Ooh,
now we're getting creative. I love this.
Oh,
This is like a
my
whole nother
gosh.
live.
That is so fun. So it could be her coast colors and then, okay, I like that, Chris. I like it. Well, perfect. Thank you guys for being here. I will be back tomorrow live. We have another project. We've got projects the rest of the week to celebrate National Crafty Month. So I hope you will join me. And thanks to Jen for spending some time with us today and sharing her knowledge. This was amazing. And yeah, until then, until we see you guys again, stay crafty, my friends. Bye.
Thanks for having me.